All right, bangers time.
Absolute banger.
Now, pew pew. All right, so today we're going to be making a big old batch of bangers because it's been a little while since we've done that. Really, really excited about that. I don't really want to go out on a limb and then cut off the limb behind me and say that this is a super traditional recipe because I just don't want to fight with people online. But this is how we like it, kind of our little spin on it. I don't know, they're delicious. And
Family eats it. We eat it. We eat too much of it.
I mean, what more do you want, right? So let's do it. All right, starting off with here, we've got our pork shoulder. This is boneless pork butt that we've got. Just amazing, good meat to fat ratio. Of course, there's more fat coming. But either way, this is what we're starting off with here. Now, as far as the recipe itself goes, we're going to be actually just giving you the quantities by weight, and those will be percentages based on this meat weight right here. That way you can scale this for any size of recipe. All you need to do is take whatever your quantity of pork shoulder or whatever meat you've got is, multiply by the percentage that we say, and you'll know exactly how much of this to use. It's just way more efficient, especially with multiple batches over time and years and all that kind of thing, than trying to go with volumetric measurements. Also, we're using grams because math. We're starting off with this shoulder. I'm just going to be cutting it really into kind of little strips like this, just because that works super well with my grinder. So we're going to get this all cut up here and ready to grind. If you don't want a lot of fat in your sausage, I'm sorry, this is not the sausage for you. Bangers have quite a bit. In addition to the fat that is already in the ratio there, just with that pork butt, we're adding an additional 25%. So that's 25% of that pork shoulder weight in fat. That's this, as well as some stuff that I had vacuum sealed that was already ground. And now at this point, I had this outside, and it's really, really cold in my garage right now. And so this is already quite firm. I'm just going to make sure that this is in manageable pieces here as well for the grinder, and then we are basically ready to grind. All right, after slicing that meat up here, we are ready for our first grind. Of course, all these parts here for the grinder were in the freezer, so they are super cold right now. And we're going to be grinding up the meat, the fat, as well as ice. For that ice, we just busted it up a little bit here. This is 8% of that meat weight. And by the way, the entire recipe with those percentages will be in the video description, so you can just check it out there. And here we are after our first grind. I also just have that other fat that I had in the freezer there. Just gonna add this to it. We're gonna let this just sort of chill down again in the freezer, and then it's time for our second grind. After we let that meat chill down a little bit more, we're doing a second grind here, just everything that was in there initially, just blasting that through again. For the record, that second grind was a little bit dicey. I've got little chunks of pork all over my face and in my hair, just blasting out there. Should have been wearing safety glasses. Safety first, right? All right, second grind complete, and I cleaned off my face, which is awesome. And now we're going to be mixing it. You could do this by hand. However, that would take a long time, and it's going to be cold on our little fingers here. So I'm really glad that we've got this Hackett tiltable meat mixer that we're going to be using here, because that will make this next part way, way easier, because you need to mix the heck out of this meat. Now, let's get this loaded up here. Beautiful, beautiful meat and fat and the ice. And once we have this in, we're going to add all the rest of our other ingredients. It's already cold. So cold. All right, so with our ground meat and fat and ice all in the meat mixer here, we're going to get everything else in. So what do we got?
Oh, what do we got?
We've got beer. Now, okay, I think more traditionally you'd be adding water, but I mean, we've got this, and this is like a fairly light beer anyway, so it's mostly water. So we're going to do this. I know this kind of like makes it a little bit more bourgeois. But, you know, whatever. We're going to do it. I mean, sausage, beer, here we go. This is a lot of liquid that's going into this. What's our percentage?
Yeah, 28% of your liquid. Water, or, in our case, mostly water.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's...
It's a swimming pool.
It's a swamp. It's a swamp. Okay. Now to help dry it up, of course, because this is all about, like, bulking up that sausage. This is sort of like the poor man's sausage, these bangers. So we've got breadcrumbs.
6.5%.
Yes. Kosher salt, because we got to get salty.
2.2% for this recipe.
You have our white pepper.
All right, ready the fractions now. 0.45% here.
Gonna start to sneeze, I think.
Hold on.
Oh. Got our ground sage.
0.06.
0.06. All We got our onion powder.
0.2.
Oh, it's getting dicey. What do we got here? This is our
ground ginger.
Ground ginger.
0.17%.
Nice.
Ground mace.
Oversized container.
0.24%.
Getting ready to sneeze.
And ground nutmeg just over 0.1%. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay.
And 0.05% boogie.
Hey, I got out of the way for that. All right, let's mix this. You know what you're looking for here, so that you know that you're done mixing, is just sort of little strings when it pulls apart, which with this mixer is really quite easy. You can just see like some of the little strings here, because as I'm mixing it, it is essentially like pulling it apart. This means that we are ready for stuffing. All right, now in order to stuff this, we're going to use our Hacka stuffer. Again, this will just make everything easier. And now we're just playing the transfer game from that mixer into here. I really do like having this tiltable mixer because I am not gigantic. So this is way easier to get everything out.
Pack that meat.
Pack it. Well, here we are, ready to stuff. We've got the 32-35 hog casings on here, and we are ready to rip. So let's do it. Now with this, you can decide how long you want them. We're just going to go in that like kind of 3 to 4 inch range, just so they're sort of like those actual short little bangers that you can get. And look at that. The sausages are all put into links. Another thing I did as we were going was just give them each of the links a couple little pokes there with the sausage pricker, just to help them form a little bit better and perhaps reduce explosion and banging while they cook. So that's awesome. And we just went ahead and got these bangers onto these racks here, let them sit out in the cool garage. It's, again, really quite cool out here overnight, just to let them firm up, which will make them much better for cooking as well as for packaging and storing. Now it's time to test a couple of these bangers here. So I've just got some lightly salted water. I'm going to get a couple of these sausages in here and just poach them until they're cooked. After poaching, I just patted these dry, and now I'm crisping them up here in a frying pan. All right, here we are. The moment that we've been waiting for since starting this process yesterday. Just delicious hot bangers. Cooked perfectly with that poached and then pan-fried method there. A little crispy on the outside, not overcooked, not dried out, still nice and juicy on the inside here. Perfect salinity in there, just the right amount of salt to cut through all of that fat and the meat and everything going on there. We've got the beautiful spices that are in there. Again, they're like fairly subtle. I'd say the white pepper is probably the strongest of the flavors that are in there. It's absolutely amazing with all that pork though. Incredibly stellar on their own. But now I just want to get some mashed potatoes, some gravy, and perhaps some peas or something like that, and have a proper meal with this. So there you have it. Fairly easy recipe to make. A little bit different from some other sausages that are out there, but incredibly delicious. So give it a whirl. If you do, let me know how it turns out for you. Until next time, keep your road 11.